Federal Correctional Facility, Bedwater, Colorado. One of the inmates, Ray Breslin, tears pages out of a Bible, burns them, and uses the soot to draw on the wall. At that moment, another prisoner warns him of an attack planned against him, saying it will happen tomorrow at 2 p.m. Breslin realizes the best defense is offense, and the next day he strikes first, severely injuring the aggressor. But because of this move, he is sent to solitary confinement. Walking through the corridors, he carefully observes the guards, noting every detail: a guard's cigarettes, the code lock on the doors, the timing of their smoke breaks. He is brought to a solitary cell with no windows, only a grate above in place of a ceiling. After some time, he begins preparing a sticky paste from toilet paper, carefully hiding it inside the roll.
Lunchtime, inmate. Eat your veggies.
At that moment, they bring him his meal. He notices the milk carton, studies it carefully, and then asks the guard for the time. The guard is surprised but tells him the exact time, then calls his partner for a smoke break. Breslin starts counting the seconds of their absence. When he reaches 300 seconds, a car explodes in the prison parking lot, the one planted there by a brunette. Chaos erupts among guards and inmates. According to the security cameras, everyone is in their place, including our main character. But when a guard enters the cell, he doesn't find his prisoner. Only the Bible remains on the floor.
We got a runner. Pete, prisoner's running.
Firefighters quickly arrive at the scene of the explosion to extinguish the burning car. One of them gets into a nearby parked Jeep, removes the fireman's suit, and reveals himself to be the escaped prisoner. The people in the car greet him, calling him boss, and then drop him off at a roadside payphone. A passing police car immediately spots the man in the orange jumpsuit. Reports spread to nearby stations, and soon many police cars surround the phone booth. But the fugitive stays calm and quietly raises his hands. While he sits in the car, a man in a tuxedo drives up and hands a note to one of the officers. The prison warden is introduced to Ray Breslin, the co-owner of an independent security company run by his partner, Lester Clark. The Federal Bureau of Prisons has hired them to test correctional facilities across the country. Over the past 7 years, Ray has been inside nearly every maximum security prison. He has successfully escaped from 14 and even written a book about it. The warden is shocked by what he hears. The warden wants to know what this prison's weak point was. Ray begins to explain. For an escape, 3 things are necessary: knowing the building's layout, studying the guards' routines, and having help either inside or outside. Here, the weak spot was solitary confinement. It's high-tech, but connected to an unprotected fire garage. To get into solitary, he had to make enemies. The facility lacked staff, so instead of 2 guards, only one escorted him. While Ray was in the cell, the guard went for a 7-minute smoke break. Every day for 7 minutes, no one was watching Ray. All that remained was to organize a diversion during that time. But how could he learn the code for the lock?
You have very good chocolate milk.
The milk carton contains a thin layer of laminated film. Removing it and pressing it against the keypad takes only seconds. The prints reveal which buttons were used. When receiving his lunch, Ray blocked the hatch lock with toilet paper and gained access to the keypad. By rewinding the surveillance footage at the guard post, he erased his tracks and still had a minute left to reach the garage. Crawling through a ventilation shaft, he entered the garage, where firefighters drove him out of the prison. The warden had only one question.
What kind of man would choose to spend most of his life in prison?
We moved to Los Angeles, California. At Breslin's company, CIA agent Jessica Mayer approaches him with a proposal to test an illegal private black site prison known as the Tomb, built for the most dangerous criminals. The challenge is that the facility is privately funded, meaning the government cannot intervene if anything goes wrong. Ray's colleagues Abigail Ross and Hush don't like the plan. Fueling their concern is Jessica's insistence that Breslin's team not know the prison's location, for the sake of a pure experiment. But the ambitious Breslin accepts the challenge. 24 hours later, he is to be picked up from the location written in the envelope: New Orleans, Louisiana. Ray is prepped for infiltration. His cover identity: Spanish terrorist Anthony Portos. He is told the evacuation code, something he must tell the warden if things go wrong, and a tracker is implanted under the skin of his arm. Afterward, Ray calmly steps outside, but is struck with a taser and thrown into a van. Masked men immediately find the tracker, cut it out, destroy it, and inject him with a drug. Everything that follows feels like a hallucination: a helicopter, a fight, and a man being thrown out mid-flight. Ray regains consciousness inside a glass-walled cell. Around him are dozens of similar cells, each with prisoners inside. He is stunned by the scale and unusual design of the prison. Watching the new arrival is the prison's warden, Willard Hobbs. Meeting Ray, Hobbs denies everything. There is no other warden, and the evacuation code doesn't apply here.
Wait! My evacuation code is 310275.
Ray manages to mention the man thrown from the helicopter, but Hobbs shows no reaction and walks away. Meanwhile, Breslin's colleagues try to find him, but there are no traces anywhere. Ray studies the nature of the prison, which proves extremely harsh. Guards wear masks and brutally beat inmates for the slightest offense. During yard time on the lower floor, guards drag in one inmate and beat him in front of everyone. At that moment, a prison gang leader decides to test the newcomer.
Back off.
Another prisoner, Emil Rottmayer, steps in to defend him and offers his hand, but Ray replies,
Really not much in the handshaking mood right now.
Emil starts asking Ray why he's here, and tells him that once he was the bodyguard of a world-class banking con man, Victor Mannheim, who enjoyed taking money from the rich and giving it to the poor. Emil is friendly toward Ray, and offers his help if he ever needs it. Later, guard enforcer Drake, the same one who threw a man out of the helicopter, walks into Warden Hobbs's office. Hobbs tells him that they are here to make sure no one dies, that's what they're paid for, and deducts a month's salary from him. On Hobbs's desk lies a book written by Ray. The warden knows everything about him. We see that most of the prison population consists of Muslims who perform prayers, something that surprises Emil, since they don't actually know the time. Ray reacts harshly to Emil's words again, but later he asks Emil to help him get into solitary confinement.
Okay.
Good.
They stage a fight between them. Ray throws a right hook, but Emil doesn't even feel it.
You hit like a vegetarian.
After a series of punches, Ray straddles Emil and begins choking him.
Relax. Pretend.
The warden watches and orders them to be separated. Both men are then placed in solitary, a tiny room where prisoners are continuously blasted with heat from massive lamps. Ray notices that the floor of solitary is fastened with steel rivets. Meanwhile, Abigail Ross and Hush pressure Clark to find and bring Ray back. Under pressure, Clark promises to do it. A prison doctor visits Breslin, and Ray asks him where they are, but he doesn't answer. A guard sees this and asks the doctor,
Hey, Doc, let's wrap it up.
After being released from solitary, Ray asks Rottmayer to get him a piece of metal, promising in return to get him out of this place. Rottmayer requests an interrogation with Hobbs. He is given just 10 seconds to say where his former employer is hiding. Instead, he plays games. Losing patience, the sadistic Hobbs orders him to be tortured with water. When Emil regains consciousness, he manages to remove a large steel rivet from the floor.
What happened?
Nothing. I'm still here.
Ray tells Emil his real mission here. He explains his past, that his business is built on testing different prisons. This one was built based on his own book, but this time, someone simply wants to get rid of him. He suspects the prison is underground, maybe inside a cave, and once again, he needs to get back into solitary. Emil resists, but Ray tells him it's the only way out, otherwise he'll be killed. Ray explains, the first time he was in solitary, he noticed the rivets weren't aluminum, but steel, and steel rusts. By polishing a piece of metal, he can reflect the lamplight, heat the rivets, and break through the floor, then escape from below. Without thinking too long, Emil provokes a Muslim inmate into a fight. The other inmates hear this and immediately start a brawl. Guards quickly break it up, and Ray and Emil are once again thrown into solitary, where Rottmayer fakes a breakdown to distract the guards while Ray works on loosening the rivets. He covers the camera, removes the rivets, and crawls into the plumbing system, making his way outside. Meanwhile, Hobbs comes to Emil, but Emil stalls him with chatter while Ray climbs upward, accidentally hitting a wire and triggering the water valves. Climbing higher, Ray finally sees sunlight. He discovers he's on board a massive ship in the middle of the ocean. Realizing escape is impossible, he climbs back down, slips, and falls into the water. He manages to return and put the rivets back in place. At Ray's office, his colleagues confront Clark, saying Ray's payment check has been frozen by the bank. Clark dismisses it, saying the bank is merely verifying the transaction. Hobbs contacts Clark, who gives Ray's real name and orders him kept in prison forever.
Now, he's there to prove that not even he can get out. Now, you make sure he stays there forever. Do you have a problem with that?
It turns out everything ties back to Victor Mannheim, the global fraudster Emil once worked for as a bodyguard. Banks worldwide are willing to pay huge sums for information on his whereabouts, and Emil is the only one who knows. That means the warden must do everything possible to extract the truth, pressing both Rottmayer and Breslin. At night, guards begin beating Ray and depriving him of sleep. Emil does his best to support his friend.
Be on the ship. He would know.
No. Not if it was 1,000 feet long, 200 feet high, stabilizers. We wouldn't know a damn thing.
One day, Breslin admits he used to be a lawyer. The man he had once put behind bars swore revenge. He escaped from prison and murdered Ray's family. That's why Ray spent half his life in prisons, searching for loopholes. Emil understands, he too has a daughter, and urges Ray not to give up, to escape, and avenge the person who put him here. Ray can't find a single blind spot, but he studies the guards' habits and gives each of them nicknames.
When Duck and Hines work together, they always do a circuit. And they do it at random times of day. It doesn't matter when they do it. It always ends up being 128 strides, and they split up.
Later, he tries to ask Dr. Kyrie where in the world they are, but the doctor breaks and refuses to say. Ray seizes a moment, collapses, and grabs something from the doctor's desk. From improvised materials and a pair of glasses, he builds a sextant to determine latitude by aligning the North Star with the horizon. But for that, he needs to get outside. Meanwhile, Hobbs observes him and decides to isolate Breslin from the other inmates. He admits that the prison was built from Ray's own book and reveals that powerful people paid a fortune to keep him locked away. But Ray is clever and promises to get information about Mannheim from Rottmayer. Hobbs sends him back among the inmates. Rottmayer asks Javed for help, promising to aid his escape in return. Javed deliberately informs Hobbs about the plan, and in exchange, the warden allows him to hold an outdoor prayer. During the night prayer, Javed uses the sextant to determine the ship's latitude. The water flows counterclockwise, meaning they are in the northern hemisphere. A new inmate had mentioned the date of his imprisonment, November 20th. Warm air and rain above deck. From all these clues, Ray calculates the ship is near the coast of Morocco. Rottmayer says he knows a man in Casablanca who owes him his life. But how to send him a message? Ray finally convinces the doctor by revealing his true identity and the book. The doctor can verify it by checking Breslin's book on Hobbs' desk, and Ray reminds him of the Hippocratic Oath. That evening, the doctor drinks, rereads the Hippocratic Oath, and then goes to Hobbs' office demanding to see Breslin. Seeing the book, he agrees to help.
What do you want me to do?
Ray gives Hobbs false information about Mannheim's location, but they know it will only distract the warden for a day. Hobbs believes him. That night, Hobbs notices Ray tapping messages to his neighbor. He uses Ray's book and reads the hidden message about an uprising in Block C. Meanwhile, the doctor sends a message to Rottmayer's contact in Morocco with the location and time of their rendezvous. Habes sets up security in Block C, but Ray has anticipated this. Javed starts a fight in another block, one with fewer guards. During the chaos, they seize weapons, break into a utility room, and shut down all surveillance cameras.
Say cheese.
Hobbs watches and quickly locks down the doors, preventing the escapees from reaching the outside, then dispatches a squad of guards. Using motion sensors, they track the fugitives. A firefight breaks out, and Javed is badly wounded. Barricading themselves in a room, Ray disables the motion sensors. He orders Rottmayer to climb up, while he heads to the engine room to shut down the power and unlock the doors. But Javed refuses to go with Emil. Emil hands him his gun and goes to the deck. Javed opens fire on the pursuers. Hobbs realizes what Breslin is doing and heads to the engine room, pursuing him. Finding the wounded Javed, Hobbs finishes him off. The chief guard finds Breslin. They fight, but Ray wins. He breaks into the engine room and cuts the ship's power. At that moment, Rottmayer's allies in a helicopter open fire on the ship's bridge and then on the guards. A gunner is hit, and Emil, reaching the helicopter, takes his place. He recalls his past as a Terminator and unleashes destruction on everyone. Meanwhile, hiding in the engine room, Ray waits for the compartment to flood with water and trigger the drainage system, launching him out into the open ocean beneath the prison ship. From the helicopter, Rottmayer drops a rope ladder. Hobbs rushes onto the deck and opens fire on the helicopter, but Emil throws Ray a gun. Ray shoots at the fuel tanks on the deck.
Boom.
An explosion erupts, killing Hobbs. The helicopter lands on the Moroccan coast. As the fugitives disembark, a car pulls up with Rottmayer's men, and Jessica Mayer, the CIA agent who had sent Ray into the prison. It is revealed she is Emil's daughter, and Emil is not Rottmayer at all. He is the elusive Mannheim himself. She orchestrated everything to free her father from the tomb. Ray also learns that his partner Clark was in on it from the start. He had been offered control of the tomb network, but only if Ray failed to escape, proving the system unbreakable. That's why Clark himself arranged Ray's imprisonment in the experimental facility and ensured he would never get out. Clark tries to flee, but Hush tracks him down in Miami. When Clark regains consciousness, he finds himself locked inside a car, sealed in a container on a ship, alone in the middle of the ocean.